you took us looking for a house, and the tenant in there had a dog named Penny, and he didn't know your name, and he kept screaming, "Shut up, Penny!"
That was amazing. I forgot about that.
And we were dying, and you didn't say a word. He just kept screaming, "Shut up, Penny!"
I bet the look on your face was probably classic.
Awesome.
I can see that now.
About that.
Tom had a blast with that.
All right, welcome everyone to Here for the Health of It podcast. Thanks for joining us today. We are Columbia's hottest and fastest growing podcast, and we have some great guests today. We have two guests. We have a mother-daughter team. We have Penny Broach, and we have her daughter, Brittany McGougan. Penny is the CEO listing specialist, you call yourself?
Yes, sir.
Is the term realtor gone?
No.
Okay. You just decided to go with a different term?
Sure.
Okay. And Brittany, who's the executive assistant buyer specialist. And we know these two very well. We've worked with them many times in the past. I even want to tell kind of people the story about how we first met you. So probably 4 or 5 years ago, I called Tom and I was looking to buy a house in Columbia. And I asked him, "Do you know any realtors?" And he said, "I don't really know any, but I have one who I'm seeing. And I think she'd be perfect for you because she has a perfect 45-degree curve in her neck." And I said, "I'm sold on that right now. I don't even need to meet her. I don't even know if I talked to you or met you before I told you that I want you to be the person that does it." And then I called you and told you I just sent you the listing and I said, "I want to buy this house sight unseen." And you told me I don't advise that. Most people want to look at it first. And I said, "Nope, I just want this one." And you said, "All right, I'll just do everything for you." And you basically did all the front end work, sent me a document, I signed it, and then the deal was done. And an even cooler thing that I don't even know if you know this is the lady who ended up buying the house next to me, my next door neighbor, said she was putting offers in for more on the house that I ended up getting, but her realtor couldn't get a hold of the buyer, whoever was selling it at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was bank owned, so it might have been the bank. You might have had to go through a bunch of hoops, but that also says a lot to me too about that. I know once you decide you're going to do something, you just call and make it happen no matter what. So that's my intro. Nice. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. And that's where it all
Did
begins.
I miss anything?
I don't think so.
That was a lot.
I don't think so. So tell us, I guess, just a day in the life of what you two do together.
You want to start with that?
Brittany wakes up at 5 a.m.
It starts.
Brittany starts her day at 5 a.m.
Her morning does not start at 5 a.m. However, ours, mine does.
Okay.
That piece of the puzzle, just getting up, going through emails, Facebook leads, those kind of things, just kind of tidying that up before she comes in. So I'm usually in the office by 7:30 just to get that part of the puzzle out of the way before everyone else gets in an office or everyone else, your typical buyer, seller clients. There are 9 a.m. Start time. So there's
7
a lot
text
of stuff.
messages from Randy overnight.
Well, no, you're up earlier than that. You send me text messages.
Yep.
You send me text messages.
I'm on that chain.
I missed those messages.
You send those ones. You send at 3 a.m. You send at 5 a.m. You send me text messages sometimes or emails responding to stuff that I sent at 10:30 or 11 the night before.
Exactly. So I kind of just reciprocate what you did to me at 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
That's nice.
Yeah. And those are the morning hours those are just the morning hours that we do just to get that stuff out of the way before the day starts. And most people's start time is 9 a.m. So there's a lot of stuff in the mornings that I can come in early and get out of the way.
Is it normal? Do we send a normal amount of emails and text, or are we above average or below average?
Speaking about surreal estate enterprises.
Yeah.
Oh, you're probably average.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What's the craziest customer that you've had? You don't have to name names, but like.
Besides the two sitting in front of us? No. Yeah, you are probably the top.
We're at the top?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right.
The DIY and the
turquoise tanks.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you are by far the craziest.
So you answer emails. I'm always curious about like just a day in the life of Penny Broach.
Because you have to be a self-starter kind of. You don't have anyone over your shoulder telling you wake up early and get all your stuff done.
Yeah, every day we wake up unemployed.
Yep.
Until the phone rings or you make it happen. We're just in our database, in our past clients, making the phone calls.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it to you guys a lot too, just checking in,
Yeah.
researching properties, staying in our database, staying in what's happening in the inventory, knowing what's coming on the market, days on market, where are the hot pockets as far as things that are turning over quickly, because the market's changing, every day, every
Yeah.
minute. It's like evolving.
So what do you guys look at to just watch the market? Is it just new, like what's sold recently?
Mhm.
What sort of things would the average person even try to keep an eye on?
I guess just trying to always watch day on market, how many homes are the count of inventory, because we can go, year to date and kind of pull inventory last year this time to know, is it higher this time or what's the difference between this year and last year as far as inventory on the market year to date, days on market year to date, those kind of things, just so that when we get that buyer or seller call, we're more equipped to, educate them on what's going on in the market.
Can you explain what's normal, what's abnormal, what's hot, what's cold in that realm? Like 30 days on market seems hot to me.
100%.
And
2 years ago, two and a half
Mm.
post or pre-COVID, some of the new agents that have got in the market over the last 18 months to 2 years have never heard of having a 6-month listing agreement and then having to sign it to get an extension when it didn't
Right.
sell in 6 months.
really?
Yeah.
It went from 6 months listings to a year listings to, listings selling within hours.
You had one at one point that was like, what'd you say, 3 years long or something?
Yeah, I had one house on the market for 3 years
Wow.
and 6 contracts. No fault of the seller. It's just like, just
fell
circumstances
through.
with the buyer each time. 6 contracts before that house actually got sold, and it was 3 years.
Out there
So-
weed eating the sign. Make
Mhm.
sure you can see the sign from the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, insane things that we do.
So I'm sure if someone's house hasn't sold in 6 months, then they're getting antsy.
Now, 100%.
Well,
Back
yeah.
then, again, it's just a daily communication. What's going on in the market? Watching that house as far as activity on the internet. We always tell people, because we're sending weekly reports, watch the internet traffic. And as long as the internet traffic continues to increase, those are your buyers.
Mhm.
Those are the buyers that are, everyone searches the web before they come somewhere, or what are their intentions are coming to the area. They're hot on the internet watching the market prior to. So when the inventory or when the internet traffic starts to decrease, then it's like, okay, we got to, make a decision, whether it's to the house or price adjustments. Right now, we're like, it's like a 10-10 rule. It's like 10 days on the market, no offers, reduce the price. Do something drastic to put you back where you belong.
Mhm.
10 showings, no offers, you got to make an adjustment
Interesting.
because it's that quick. The market's changing that quick.
Are open houses still a thing in this current market? Like, are you guys doing open houses and
Every weekend.
really?
Mhm.
So what's the strategy on that? Like, how do you get people to show up to an open house?
Every one we hold, I do a social media post and we blast it all over the internet through Facebook groups. Posting it on our webpage, sharing it to whoever needs it, sending out email blast to all the agents in the area, and then our entire database to get it out there, basically. And we usually do like a drawing because, everybody likes free stuff.
Mhm.
So we have a gift card drawing. Everybody's
Randy
like,
loves
Yeah.
free stuff.
Well, no, I was going to ask who bakes the cookies.
we don't bake
You
cookies.
don't do that?
No.
We buy
That's antiquated.
them. Mhm.
yeah. Wait, what? You guys not doing any smell branding in there? Do you need us to help you with some of this stuff?
Maybe.
Get in there, Randy. I mean,
Well, it used to be a big thing, right?
It
Did you used
be
to
a
do that
thing.
back in the
Hence,
day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hence COVID, everything's in a package.
gotcha.
So they can just pick it up and walk through the house and keep it going.
So tell me what does your open house look like? You got some store-bought cookies. Ugh. What else?
Well, we do like local stuff. Like we do Tiffany's a lot.
yeah, we do
We
Tiffany's.
do good
baked a lot.
cookies, not, Chips
All right,
Ahoy.
nice.
Nice.
Do most people take something?
Definitely.
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of our branding things. We'll have branding things out, what's going on in the neighborhood. So anything about the neighborhood, past sales, everything on the house. So we have marketing books that stay on the counter with your plot plan, your floor plan, your seller's disclosure, any changes they've made to the house during their ownership. We always make sure that's readily available for buyers and their agents to see immediately. And all that gets, put on the nearest table in the foyer. We do still keep a sanitation table at the front door to, keep all the guests comfortable with hand sanitizers, booties to put on their feet to keep the homes, as clean as possible.
Nice. Are there any tricks or like things that
Tricksy.
Like maybe where you start? So somebody shows up at the open house and you go, all right, I got to take them through the garage and then show them the laundry room and then end at the kitchen. Or is there any like flow things or things that you guys have in the repertoire?
Kind of just let people do their thing when they come in.
Yeah. We try not to hover.
Yeah.
We're not Vanna White. It's not like,
Really?
here you go. Here's the kitchen.
Kind of like
They're
when
like,
people
I see the kitchen.
Yeah.
follow you around in the store. Like, do you want to buy this? Do you need help? You're like, no, I don't need help. Thanks.
We're
man.
just
Yeah.
looking. So
I'd be
just
so
looking.
bad at this.
you would be.
I'd be, yeah, because I'd think
Tom would be following around everywhere.
I would point out everything.
Did you see the bathroom?
Yeah. I mean,
The mirror looks great.
that's I think an open house, while some people think it's antiquated or, back in the day, it still gives those buyers that opportunity. And we still do that. As soon as we list the house, that's the first thing that goes on the schedule is the next open house. Just to give those buyers that opportunity that still want to walk in something that they may have found it on the web and love it, but they still want to do that. I want to see it, touch it, feel it.
Right.
Maybe I don't want to reach out to a realtor at this time. I just don't want to be evasive. I just want to take a look. So, the open houses is still that door we try to keep open to give buyers that opportunity to just come through at their own pace to look and see, what's available.
And so there's probably, how many people will come through an open house? I would imagine 20.
0 to 20.
Okay.
I mean, last weekend it was raining, and I think we had 6 at the one we did on Lake Vista Court.
Okay. That's nice. And they run for 3 hours usually.
Yeah, 2 to 3.
2
Yeah.
to 3 hours.
Usually a 1 to 4, 2 to 4,
Yep.
2 to 5.
And then how does that compare to the number of people who call and want a private showing?
Probably the same. Like during the week on a listing, we could get anywhere from 2 to 10 calls, whether they're signed calls or Facebook leads. We run, Facebook leads, we'll get anywhere from 10 to 50 leads from a
Nice.
Facebook ad.
Are they
and those
valid
are
all the
targeted.
time?
Sometimes not valid,
A
but
lot of them I'm just
Yeah.
putting in fake names.
MickeyMouse.com kind of thing. But,
Just to
people
make
who
sure.
are seriously looking gives us the opportunity to reach out, provide them all the information on the house, phone call,
Right.
just to kind of, build that relationship because that's what real estate is. It's just relationships.
So no tricks in language and no tricks
tricks.
in flow
No, we're not tricky
and
people.
no smell branding. Okay. How about, I had a follow up to that. Let me just, I can't.
Well,
find
Maybe
this
we'll
mess.
move over to Randy.
Maybe.
I'm curious. Well, no, I'm curious about the
Let me
Facebook
think
strategy.
about
I don't know if this is a trade secret, but you're doing Facebook ads. What does that look like? How do you figure out your ad spend, who you're targeting, and how many ads you run or what your ads look like?
Well,
wanna
with
speak to that, to
Keller
command?
Williams within our CRM, our database, there's a portion where we can look to see where people are moving from to, like where people are coming from to Columbia. So like you can pull it up and see, about how many people, and we do like Greenville, Charleston, a bunch of the military bases.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, we can
Clarksville, Tennessee is
Yeah.
a big one.
target where people are
Right.
coming from to us, which kind of helps a little bit.
So you're running ads in Tennessee
hmm
for Columbia houses.
Clarksville, Tennessee. In that spreadsheet that she's talking about, it's a map in our system. And literally it shows you the percentage of people coming from all over the country to Columbia for housing,
And
which
then
helps with the target marketing.
for sure. Well, for sure. And then you make the ads yourself.
Yeah.
Who's in them? Are you both in them? Brittany's in them.
No, I do all
She
that.
does all
Oh,
of
you
our
do the
marketing.
ads.
She's
How
the
do you
marketing
decide who you're going to
specialist.
put in it?
Like the picture? Oh no,
Yeah.
usually it's just the
It's
house.
not
Just a
people.
photo.
No,
It's just a
yeah.
photo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's-
Yeah.
Do you want
What kind
Tom,
of ad?
You don't want
Tom
me-
giving someone a tour around the
You don't want me
house?
showing people around.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a Facebook ad, which is, additional pictures of the house, information, and then there's always a, call to action, click
Yeah.
for more, that kind of thing.
Yeah. that's
I saw a chart one of our friends sent that did South Carolina have the biggest increase in population in the past year? Like just a lot of people moving here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially from up
percentage of
north.
people. I think it was based on the percentage
Oh.
of people
Mhm.
increase but South Carolina's number one.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Good time to be a realtor.
Absolutely.
How long you been in the game for? How long you been in selling?
So I started in the industry in 2002. So just a few years.
So So I guess, so you went through the 08 stuff. Was any of that scary, or was there any time where you were like, what am I doing?
I guess it just really depends. It depends on your mindset, your business model. But I mean, planning ahead, staying in your database. I mean, Columbia, it's not scary, I guess, due to Columbia. So our specific area, having government basis,
Right.
Being the capital, so having a lot of government and universities help with the transient, help with property values maintaining. We don't have those big, highs and those big lows to where it, helps for families as far as keeping price points, affordable.
Nice. So, and I guess looking at Columbia as a whole, what are the most desirable areas in Columbia over the years? Like, are there pockets or neighborhoods that just consistently, for the new buyer or realtor, that if they can get a listing in these areas, they'd be a little hotter? Or?
I think it's cyclical for that. I mean, a lot of times, depending on the time of year, the lake, Chapin is blowing up as far as neighborhoods and industry over there. I mean, all of Chapin, they're getting industry, they're getting great restaurants. There's just a lot of stuff happening in that Lexington, Chapin corridor right now.
Do you guys get access to like new developments that are coming in? You guys do?
Yeah.
Where do you guys find that?
From the BIA. We're members of the Building Industry Association here in Columbia, which gives us all of that information. We can pull permits pulled, that type of thing to know, what's next. What's coming next.
Because that'd be helpful to find like land and things like that. Yeah. Okay.
And what about billboards?
Do you guys
or park benches?
Yeah.
Do you guys sell those?
No.
We don't sell them, and we don't put our face on
I always see
them.
realtors on park benches and billboards.
That's not our business model.
No.
We just like you guys. I mean, we just do the right thing. I think doing the right thing over and over and over again. Sometimes doing the right thing costs you, but just continue to do the right thing and the business will come. Just the repeat clients, the referrals, that's kind of where our business model stays. We're not billboard.
Yeah. So referrals are what, 90% of your business probably?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. When I tell people about you, I lead with, I email her at 11 p.m. and she emails me back at 4:55 a.m.
So what over the years, what's the biggest change that's occurred that you've seen over 20 years in the game?
Biggest change? There's no change.
Nothing.
Pricing.
Yep.
Inventory.
Houses are built worse probably now.
I don't know about built worse.
How about technology though?
Yeah, technology is huge.
Is there like new tool, like when it came out, it really...
All the tricks of the trade, all of the big builders have some type of integrated home advantage, some type of green building platform that they all, use. However, pretty much they all have the same. They just all kind of tweak it and make it their own. So anything from speakers to technology to home, security systems, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's
thermopane windows.
Yeah, all of those things are huge.
Yeah,
anything energy efficient, but everyone does it. Don't feel like this one doesn't, and this one has all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of does it, and they just kind of put their own twist on it.
So I guess if somebody wants to increase the value or appeal of their house, like when you guys go into a site or a house, what are the things that you guys talk about? Obviously, paint the brick white and have a good relationship.
Before you call the HOA, paint your brick white.
You might want to call the HOA first and get some approval if you're doing any exterior changes.
Great,
yeah,
it turned out good. Is there anything like for example, would you ever recommend adding a bedroom or a bathroom? Like, what are things that really increase value to people's homes if they want to sell it for the most dollar?
Well, square footage. Because that's kind of, where the price comes from. Anything that's heated, square footage. But if you can update bathrooms and kitchen, those are your selling features. People are looking at kitchens, how the flow is, master bedrooms or owner suites or primary suites, and those baths that are the ensuite that's included with that. That's your biggest bang for your buck.
Yeah.
is remodeling those kitchens, getting things updated and baths.
How many houses do you think you've been in?
Oh gosh, thousands.
Really?
Hundreds and thousands. I mean, it's been 20 years.
So what, like, has there been anything that you think, like you saw it and you're like, man, that's a really nice feature for a house? Like anything that stand like a waterfall or something like crazy. Fish.
I don't know what she's laughing
Um,
at.
A waterfall.
I mean, it's all fabulous. I mean, and it's all, and it's, I guess it's trendy too,
yeah.
So what you love today.
But like, I bet like when you first saw the intercom system, you're like, whoa,
Yeah,
you can
that's
talk.
cool.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
intercom system.
Some of the stuff we see in the older houses in like Shandon and stuff like that, I find some of those more appealing than some of this newer stuff,
Right.
honestly. Like I think one house I went in one time, the space between the crown molding and the ceiling was like this big, and I was like, what is that for? And it's actually
Yeah.
to hang pictures on so you don't put holes in your wall.
Oh.
There's like
years ago.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah. Well, and even like some people were telling me that you can hide in the crown molding like outlets and different things like that.
You can do whatever you want to do.
See, I
Yeah.
feel like,
If you've got to
yeah,
Got this
the check.
check.
right, check. I like it.
So let's go the other direction then. The nice features that you've seen. Walk us through some houses that you've barely been able to get into. And there's even been times that I know that we've taken you places where we're like, we don't know if someone's living in this house.
Yeah.
We don't
I'll
know if there's
sit in
going to
the
be an
car while y'all
animal.
do
Bring a
thing.
weapon.
I'm going to go knock on the neighbor's
Not
door quick.
necessarily. Yeah. I mean,
But anything like that where you walked in and there's a bunch of people living there and you didn't expect it,
Well-
or the person said, nope, you're not, a tenant said, nope, you're not getting in here.
we hear a lot of that from tenants. They're because this doesn't benefit them for the house to sell.
Right.
But I mean, there's certain procedures that we do to make appointments to see homes, and so we can do that. And there's been times, you make an appointment and it's Saturday morning at 9:30, and you hit the lockbox and go in, and there's a whole family there because maybe they didn't get the message,
Right.
or there's interesting things at summertime too. Plenty of agents have great stories on what they find in homes during the summer when the kids are at home and their parents
Right.
don't really know what's going on.
Really?
Yeah, buddy.
So interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so what are the rules on that? Well, you guys just have to give notice of a certain time period
Yeah.
that you're going to go through there, and they have to allow.
They don't have to. So
Oh.
so the system through the MLS, we have lock boxes, and showing time allows us to go on and secure your time, whether it's 4:30. You would give them at least 24 hours notice. So we'd go today and schedule our appointments for tomorrow. And you're setting up your appointments in 30-minute intervals. And then we're waiting for confirmation from that listing agent. So if we get the same, we're going to communicate with our sellers. We have someone coming today at 3:30. Is that okay? We always communicate with our clients to make sure those showings work for their schedule, or, if they have sick kids
Right.
at home. Sometimes we have to immediately do some rescheduling or moving people around, but it's 100% communication. You always need to know, who's going to be there at what time. And the lock boxes are great because every day we can pull a report to know, which agents have been there and how long they were there.
Really?
How does it do that? Are they
By our
electronic?
phones. Yeah, it's just
it's
it's an app that we all use. All the realtors use. So that way, every afternoon you can pull a report, to send to your seller that this is who showed today.
Has there been anything sketchy where people get the lockbox codes and they just get in there and pretend to be realtors? No,
No, those days are gone
really.
with technology.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure
have-
years ago, because years
Yeah.
ago, that we
It
didn't
was
have
the
the
little-
MLS, so we had a phone book about this big. It was
Yeah.
black and white. And you flipped
Yeah.
through it with your clients and picked houses out to go see, and then you had to make the appointment with the listing company to go pick the key up at the company, go show the house, and then return the key. So those days are
let's-
gone. The
yeah.
internet or technology has helped that 100%.
What did they do before the internet?
Just that.
Literally,
Look in a phone book,
like there would be a picture of a house in a phone book
black and white,
or a
lots of-
newspaper or something like
Mhm.
that. No way.
MLS book was like
And
2
then you-
inches thick.
Wow.
Then you'd pull out a map and drive,
Drive around the city.
following a map.
Mhm.
Penny, that's
Wow. Yeah.
all right. How about let's
Imagine
talk?
that. I'm old.
So,
You're like,
I mean, I didn't realize.
that was what is that where you tap? The
Oh, the Morse code.
yeah, it was way back then.
That's
Yeah.
how you sent letters via pony.
Carrier pigeon.
So solar panels. This is a hot topic, I feel like. Is that decrease, increase, do nothing to houses value? Or does it just depend on the buyer, I guess?
It depends on the situation. A lot of times the note for the solar panels has to travel. It goes with the property. So if the note, there's balance on the note, either that seller has to have enough money in their proceeds to pay them off, or the buyer accept the contract and the contract's transferred over. So yeah, it's not.
Gotcha.
Just stay away.
Solar panels?
Yeah,
They're just ugly. I mean, I think they're just very ugly. Like
for the right person in the right situation.
I could see Randy. Yeah, I could see Randy.
I would do
having
it.
them.
Like the long-term homeowner,
Yeah.
the forever home,
Yep.
so that the return is there. I think it's still all about the dollars and the cents. You just really need to sit down and hammer those numbers out and know what that return's going to be.
Yep.
But it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
What about fences? Because everywhere that I've grown up, everybody had a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came here and almost nobody has a fence. Does it add value to have a fence around your house?
And now Randy has 3 different colors on his fence.
I knew that was going on.
And styles.
Yeah, what's the benefit to having different types of fences around your house?
It's going to be HOA driven, unless you're in the country. Pretty much most all fences in communities are HOA approved. So there's a certain style sometimes, certain color. If you're on a golf course or, any specific area in a community, it has to be a certain kind. Mm-hmm. A lot of golf course lots, they don't allow them. And if they do, they have to be the, wrought iron or the aluminum that's visible.
Yeah. Does it add value, though, to have one?
I don't think it adds value.
Really?
It may add to your buyer basis. It's,
Probably personal preference.
That's right. Families looking, that have children or pets, that's a bigger buy for them versus the house. If they're looking at 2, you have a fence, the other one doesn't, you would be the winner.
Got it.
Even if it's 3 different colors.
Exactly.
Banking on that. So if a person says, I'm looking to buy a house, here's my budget, and I want it to be turnkey, because I hear this all the time, so I'm sure you hear it all the time too. And they give you a budget that's $200,000 or something, and the average home price is $280,000 or $290,000, and they want a perfect house for $200,000, and you go see 50 houses, and there's always something wrong with it. What's the process there?
It starts in the beginning, setting the expectations for sure, and just a consultation. We sit down with everyone or try to, whether it's in person, Zoom, or however we do that, just to kind of get that, wants and needs, because everybody's got the what I want, but sometimes that's not reality. Mm-hmm. They can, sometimes that budget only covers what they need.
Right.
So yeah, that's a case by case basis, and everyone has the, we all have the champagne taste and a beer budget.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Just got to bring them back to reality.
And so maybe walk us through the process. If somebody says, all right, I'm deciding I'm going to go with you guys, I want you to be my realtor, do they call you or email you, and then you set up an appointment, and then you meet, and it's a 30-minute, see what they want? Yeah,
30, 45 minutes. We just kind of get the wants and needs. First conversation is lender. Who, if they've spoken to their, we always try to put them in touch, number one, with who holds the majority of their funds. Your local bank, your financial institution that, you currently work with, and then try, always have a second opinion, always try a local lender. You always want someone local. That's the hugest, investment that you're going to make sometimes in a lifetime. You want to be able, just like this, sit across the table from someone that's handling your business and not call a 1-800 number on the other side of the country.
Right.
Especially if things start to go awry.
Yeah.
I want to be able to walk into your office and sit down and be like, this is what we need to do.
Right.
And I want to look at you when we're doing that.
Yep.
Not call and go through 17 different prompts.
And then you ask them, what are you looking for? And the top 3 things that you hear are, I have no clue, actually.
Certain number of bedrooms.
Yeah.
This
Bedrooms.
Location of bedrooms is huge. The primary suite, where do you want that? Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't care for stairs, or, with family makeup now, things are changing. You've got either empty nesters, becoming parents. You've got, families where grandparents are coming back home, or kids that have moved away and have children are coming back home for certain reasons. So a lot of times needing 2 bedrooms on the main. That's a pretty hot commodity right now.
Wow.
Just to find 2, bedrooms on the main floor, for yourself and then guests or in-laws or grandparents that are coming back.
Say your in-laws want to move close to you.
Mhm.
What distance do you recommend them being away?
Whatever works for your family makeup.
Personal preference.
We
Just
can't
too
say
political. You guys are too
make
political.
Personal preference on everything. All right. Have you ever had to fire a client?
Definitely.
Good question.
Yeah, we've done
Tell
that
us
a few
how
times.
that. Yeah. What's that look like?
Well, sometimes it's not negative.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're just not the realtor for you.
Well, we have
you
one
may
for
be
you.
the right buyer, but I'm not the right realtor. And we can put you in touch with one that
Gotcha.
with someone who is right for you.
And is it mainly because they take you to 4,000 locations and just never buy anything?
Expectations. Sometimes they're hard to set in the beginning, and you can never reel them back in. And sometimes it's just personality. I mean, I'm sure there's been times in your career too that there's been people. It's like, no, I don't think
Definitely.
so.
Yeah.
Your personalities don't match, values don't match. We're long term. I mean,
You're looking at building an empire with guys from Surreal Estate Enterprises.
Absolutely.
That's your target.
Yeah,
I just broke out laughing for a second because I thought of the one time when we were when you took us looking for a house and the tenant in there had a dog named Penny and he didn't know your name and he kept screaming, "Shut up, Penny!"
That was amazing. I forgot about that.
And we were dying and you didn't say a word. He just kept screaming, "Shut up, Penny!"
I bet the look on your face was probably classic.
Awesome.
I can see that now.
About that.
Tom had a blast with that.
Oh man.
Randy has a little bit of cool.
All right. So tell me about pools. Can a pool add value to a house? Or is that another one you guys are going to cop out and say personal preference?
Kind of, sort of. So pre-COVID, in my experience, pools are kind of somebody's going to love it or somebody's going to love the house and not want a pool. So it was that was 100% family specific, makeup driven. But since COVID, it seems like there's a lot of things that have increased in value or been important. So any kind of outbuildings that could be
a shed that somebody would build in their backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. That that could be office space, could be homeschooling your kids, could be an additional area to work in. Pools, because as far as vacation or going places during that time, pools were huge for a long time.
Right.
We had one that actually added value on the appraisal, I think.
Yeah.
Is that just based on the appraiser that looks at it and goes, "Oh, this is..."
Yeah.
Because you can't, I guess, if you didn't want a pool, what do they do? Like, have you seen anything unique where they were like, "All right, I don't want a pool, I'm going to fill it or demo it," or
No,
they
you
just
just
kind of
find
stick
the
with
right
it?
property. Yeah. It's with or without a pool.
Gotcha.
What is your, hot topic? What is the one thing that, your walk away?
Yep. Now, speaking of sheds, did you see Randy's shed that he built in his backyard?
Absolutely. It was awesome.
That made it easier for her to sell.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of like some
And this is
square footage.
Yeah, this is a good point.
Livable.
So, would that be considered total square footage, or is that kind of a sidebar? How do you do the calculations of that? Because I think
So
people.
I'm not an appraiser. I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah, but I know
it's
you know this.
50%.
But I know you know this.
You're right.
Yeah.
So anything like that, that's anything that's not on the main level,
Okay.
that's heated and cooled with the same unit,
Yep.
is inferior. So whether it's a basement, whether it's a room above like a detached garage with a great mother-in-law suite or something, it always gets less as
Really?
far as
Even
value, no matter how it's finished.
What if the garage is attached?
That's different. It's attached. And so
Then
you
it
have
counts.
a bonus room that's heated and cooled
Yeah.
in the same square footage as the main part of the house.
Gotcha. So if Randy wants to do his attic, would that add a square footage?
Do
Yeah.
your attic. Tell me what do your attic
Well, like
means.
every time I go up to the attic, it's just it's a huge space that hasn't been developed yet.
So it's going to depend on like the height of the ceiling in the attic. So what could be counted as heated and cooled square footage, and then talking to an appraiser to find out, what it's going to take to make it heated and cooled square footage that you could include, you can finish it just like the rest of the house. And how do you get up there?
Yeah, what if you have to use a pull down?
No.
What if you have to use a pull down ladder? That was going to be my
You're
follow
pull-down
up.
attic.
You have to build a stairwell up there.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, so it wouldn't count though? Like say the only
You
access
can't
was really.
use the pull down.
Okay. See, that's good to
Dr.
know.
Tom.
That's
Yeah.
good to know.
It might count as 50% though if it's finished.
Yeah.
But you have to walk
With a
up there.
pull down, it would count as
Not
50?
with the pull
No.
down. No.
No, it
that
counts
wouldn't
as
count
zero.
as anything.
0.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Like some bonus rooms that are unfinished. They're built unfinished. And
Yeah.
so a lot of families live there for years until they decide how they want to turn that unfinished space
Yes.
into finished. And then that's usable heated and cooled square footage, whether they add to the unit. A lot of times they're doing the mini splits and things like that to heat that extra space. But no, you're not going to climb the pull down and finish the attic of your home and call it heated and cooled square footage.
Well, Randy would. The average person.
No, it was a secret spot.
Yeah, I have a secret. You just pull down this little latch here and head up. All right. So how about mentors? Did you have any mentors or currently have any mentors that like helped you in the realty game? Or do you just watch shows like Selling Sunset and
Don't watch
$1
those.
million listings
That is not what real estate
and
is
just
like.
take notes?
Yeah. No, I did early on.
Yeah.
Early on when I started, I was licensed and I started with an independent in Kershaw County. So it was a mother and son real estate company. And I just kind of, back then you go to school and it's like, go sell a house.
Yeah.
So everywhere she went, I went. So it was listing appointments, buyer's consultations. I kind of went everywhere she went. And that was kind of how I learned in those days.
Yeah.
Now there's more trainings, real estate classes. Keller Williams has a huge, training platform that, provides whether it's, in person, Zoom, anything like that, as far as trainings to walk you through contracts, to walk you through, okay, you get a buyer call. What do you do now? 20 years ago, there weren't trainings like that. You kind of just, learned on your own.
And well, so then to the mentor side of it, I kind of want to hear from Brittany on
needs to do
the
some
on the
Yes.
dynamic of what it's like
Why
working
real
with your
estate?
mom. Why real estate? Why your mom? And what's it looking like?
Why real estate? So I did my college got my degree and tried the corporate world. And you kind of just, when you grow up, realize that not that I don't want a boss, but I want to do my own thing. I want to be responsible for me. I did 2 years of general management in a restaurant, and that is not for everybody.
Do you want to say the name of the
It's a
restaurant?
good education.
Well, Carolina Wings in Blythewood, I'm still there. I still actually bartend part-time every Tuesday.
Nice.
So, and I use that for all of my networking purposes because
Nice.
I have to sit there and talk to you between the hours of 3:30 and 10. So, but I mean, it took me long enough to say my mother was right and that I needed to join the real estate industry. But I mean, so far I love it. One of my biggest things is first-time home buyers. My goal before I turned 30 in 2020 was to buy my own house, and that's what I did. And that experience, for me to be able to help other people do that, especially at a young age, like a lot of the coworkers that I've had at Keller Wings are now at that age where they're making those decisions, and for me to be able to help them means a whole lot to me because I've seen a lot of them grow up from literally like freshmen in high school. So that's my biggest thing.
Cool. Nice. And then what's it like working with your mom?
I was trying to avoid that question.
She was avoiding that.
Yep. Not on this show.
We're deep diving.
Not on this
So-
we allocated the next 20 minutes for this question.
We are two of the exact same people, and you can ask anybody that's in our office. So I'm not surprised, but surprised that we've made it 2 years now, working together from the hours of 8:30 to 5 every day. Would I ever live with her and work with her? Absolutely not.
Well, you're
That
not
ship
welcome.
has sailed.
Yeah,
That ship
absolutely.
has sailed.
Yep.
Now, when you grow up and you want to come live with me, I'll remember that.
No, you got to clip. No, we're going to clip that for you so you have it for forever.
I'll remember that. But I mean, no, I think what we have is great, and what we do what we love. It's helping people build their empire and their dreams and wealth through real estate. Because I mean, that's one of the biggest things you can do. And being in real estate, you can make $12, or you can be the next multimillionaire.
Yeah.
So it's all in how hard you work and what you want to do and what your values are.
Nice. What's the biggest reason somebody should use a realtor, like versus just try to sell their own house?
Representation.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to contracts and legal stuff, they're not going to know what half of that stuff means on a contract. I mean, I went through real estate school and I still read it on a daily basis because a lot of it does make sense.
Right.
But I mean, when, things start happening, what are they going to do? And they're going to end up in, whatever situation and not have any idea what's going on.
Nice. And then what special access do you guys have that the average Joe doesn't? Like, I know the MLS, I can't tap into that, right?
But everything in MLS is on Zillow.
So Zillow's kind of our MLS.
Mm-hmm. But don't use
anything.
Don't use Zillow. Call a realtor.
Why don't you guys like Zillow?
It's just not correct.
Really?
So a lot of, realtor.com is probably your most current. It's just, when things are having to download, whether they're current sales or a lot of it is at pre-foreclosure. We get all these phone calls. I seen this on the web at, pre-foreclosure. That information is never correct. It's never downloaded correctly. So just, getting with a realtor who has the access to MLS and any other services that are out there that are available so that you can get at the time or at the moment correct information.
Is there anything you guys legally can't do? Like say you came across properties faster or whatever, you can still purchase and be an investor and there's nothing that limits you if you were to have your realtor license.
You just have to disclose that you're a realtor.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah, if we're buying a property. And being a realtor, you're kind of on the front line. So we walk in a house, we're sitting with sellers, that gives you the opportunity. If you're the investor wanting to grow your portfolio, you've got a house right there, you've got a need. Yeah. And you can, purchase that property there.
And you're fine. You're allowed to say you're representing somebody to sell their house, but then you also are representing the buyer. You can show them that house. Like that's still like a legal thing. Yeah. Be on both teams essentially.
Dual agency. Yeah. Dual agency.
Dual agency.
Do you have to disclose that to the
absolutely.
Okay.
It's another actual addendum or form design for us to be able to do that.
Gotcha. And what's the fastest something is sold? Like if we said we want this, what's the time period that it could be done?
From contract to close.
Yep.
Move in. As quick as days, because basically title work. If you're a cash buyer, your time frame is title work. Okay. And that's, up to your closing attorney to do that. If you have a mortgage, then you're up to a lender's timeline, which, typically 20 days to 30 to 45 days, depending on their type of finance.
Has there been anything like say I personally was a closing attorney and I'm going to pay cash and I say at 8 a.m., I want this house that's on the market. Could I close that day or within hours?
Maybe within 24, 48 hours, if you had control of every aspect of that transaction. If you were the abstractor that ran down to the county and did the 40-year title search and, you had control of all the facets, you could.
You do anything you set your mind to.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
Good answer.
And then I guess, what do you guys think the market's going to do over the next year or two? Is there any insight that we should be telling the great listeners of Here for the Health of It?
Yeah, I guess your guess is as good as ours.
Really?
Yeah.
I always tell people everybody's buying and selling. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Everybody's moving. Everybody's jobs are changing. Somebody's dying. Somebody's having a baby.
Life events.
Life happens every day. So there's always going to be somebody that needs to buy a house or sell a house.
Yep. That's like cars. It's the same thing.
Yeah. There's always a need, and even now, talking about, where interest rates, that's the biggest discussion. But you don't have competition. So you might have a point or so higher on your interest rate, but you're not walking in a house behind 15 other buyers and having to compete for that home.
Multiple offers, all that crazy stuff.
That was bizarre for those months. I mean, we're still seeing it. Don't take away that we're not still seeing, we were just in 1 or 2 in the last 2 weeks with our buyers. We've had multiple offer situations, but it's not the 10, 15, 20 plus offers. And sellers, it's the market's changing. So it's not a buyer's market. It's not a seller's market. It's kind of
in between.
Yeah. It's kind of hopefully starting to level out to where sellers, they are seeing that they're making some concessions, some closing costs, maybe a home warranty. There are some things now that it's a win-win for both sides or both parties. It's not one side or, driven versus the other.
Gotcha.
So that's nice to see.
And interest rates are somewhat cyclical. I'm sure you've seen over 20 years, they go up and they go down and they go up and they go down. So can you think of another time when it was hitting 7 or 8% or whatever it's getting up to now? And what was the time frame? Like, what did that look like?
Those 07, 08, 09 era.
It was
and again,
7, 8, 9%.
We were in that same kind of
Well, like
bubble.
when we were in at Mega Camp, which is a function that Keller Williams puts on. They do the whole breakout of like whatever years and the comparisons on year trends. And what was it, like 1980? I think interest rates were at like 17%.
Yes.
So when we hear people and they're
Right.
like, "Oh my God, the interest rates are so high," and I'm like,
In the 80s.
imagine if you were back
That's
there,
what my
like
dad said.
owning a house
Right.
was a complete
Yeah.
luxury.
Yes.
I mean, now it's easy to do that.
Yes, 6% or below is still a fantastic rate in the big scheme of things. And
Yeah.
it's all relative.
Yeah.
100%. It's relative.
And market cycles I've heard that they're 10 years long usually. Does that sound accurate from
Yeah.
your mega camp?
That sounds,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Could be.
All right. Okay.
You can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
True. Might be 6, might be 20.
It might be 1.
The Randy philosophy.
What is Keller Williams? And like, are they just a brokerage? Explain kind of what their role in how this works in the realty game.
Well, they're a brokerage. A Coldwell Banker, a Remax, they're a brokerage. I think it has a lot to do with their business model, their values. Their values are God, family, business. And there's just, if that relates to you, then this is where you need to be. Giving us the opportunity to have a little more control. We're almost like business owners. So, we brand ourselves. We are the Broach Company at Keller Williams Palmetto.
Nice.
So that gives us the opportunity to brand ourselves. Our signs are our billboards are our signs, basically in neighborhoods as far as we can reach them from Camden to Chapin. So that's kind of our billboard because it's branded to us. It gives us the opportunity to do that. So you're like kind of running your own business under the umbrella of Keller Williams. The training, the opportunities are endless. Being a real estate agent or getting your license is just kind of a segue to all things real estate.
Right.
And at Keller Williams, if, maybe the buyer's agent, the listing agent, or having the real estate business isn't for you, you can get into coaching, you can get into, investing. There's just lots of other facets that you can do. Once you've got a real estate license, that door's open. It's wide open to do whatever you want to do in the industry.
Nice. And every realtor has to have kind of like a Keller Williams, or no?
Your license has to hang at a brokerage.
Okay.
Unless you have your brokerage license.
Yeah.
How do you get that? Like what? Is that
Well,
additional schooling or is that?
Yeah.
Yes, and I was going to
Additional
say Keller Williams is also doing tuition-free real estate school right now that some people may be eligible for.
Really?
So if you know anybody that wants their license,
Oh, I do. We have thousands of listeners
Yeah.
probably wanting to do
It's
that.
a great
Yeah.
opportunity it's a qualification thing, but we do have, it's called K-Score. And so it's a tuition-free real estate school. Not
Not
the
every-
tuition
yeah.
is free, but then when you get your license, you've got, there's other fees, MLS, Board of Realtor,
Yeah.
other things. So it's not
not
free is
completely
not the
free.
right word,
Right.
but
Complimentary.
kind of, sort of.
Well, so that's good. What are things that are like annual fees or fees that you have to do continuing? So once you have your license, what keeps you in the world? You said an MLS.
Continuing education. I mean, we still have to do 10 hours of continuing ed every 2 years to renew our
Oh.
license. Board of Realtor dues that we pay,
MLS,
MLS dues.
Okay.
But I mean, you can get in the industry,
Any special insurance or anything you have to have?
E&O insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
and your
that's
brokerage
through
should
your
hold that.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's paid through, you pay it, but it's through your company.
Nice. Do you recommend anyone taking on their HOA and trying to start a movement? Because
Not if you paint your house white before you call them.
To anybody but you, no. You go right ahead because we can't
Randy
wait
might
to
be
watch.
okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like HOAs. Have you seen the T-shirts advertised defund the HOA?
somebody bought me, or Mark Losby bought me that.
Yeah, I like the idea. I specifically liked my neighborhood because there wasn't really an HOA.
Sometimes it's nice though, depending on what your
Yeah.
Right. If you love being told what to do,
It's not
they're
necessarily
great.
told
Or
what
if you
to
want to
do.
lead a, or if you want to lead a
Stop
movement
that.
against them, you
I mean,
need
if
to
you don't
have
wanna-
one. You have to have one.
Ride by your house and see like 40 cars parked in their front yard, or
Right.
Yeah.
whatever
There's-
running around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a ton of benefits to
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
just how you take it.
Yep.
100%. So,
Right.
I mean, you want furniture in the house, not the couch under the tree in the front yard.
the
Yes.
toilet in the front yard
Yeah.
with flowers in it.
Keeps your property
Right.
values up,
Yeah.
keeps people accountable,
Yep.
and it's consistency.
But if you do want to paint your house, you start painting and then wait to see what they're going to say.
We don't recommend that.
No? Okay.
The
I've seen that worked.
Didn't you say at your HOA there people were fighting because someone had fake
Somebody
flowers
planted
in their yard?
fake flowers in their yard. Yeah. There was
Planted.
Who took
Like,
the
they
time
put
to
it
go
They
feel them
stuck them.
they stuck them in. Yeah.
to make sure they were
I,
fake?
I think my neighborhood's a little crazy. And the more I'm finding out. Hopefully they don't
You
listen
fit
to this.
right
Well,
in.
when you paint your
That's what
house
I mean.
white,
That's what I mean. I guess I'm there. I'm going to end up, Megan and I are going to be on the board soon. I think we'll make some changes.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
is
a good
everybody
place.
going to be able to paint their house white?
Well, I think that's going to be up to me at that point when I'm in the board, depending on who voted against it when they find me. So then I guess how do people find you guys?
Yeah.
What would be the best avenue to reach out to you guys if they're selling, buying,
Facebook, Instagram, cell phone, email.
and just type in Tom
Broach
Stepson.
Company.
Yep. TheBroachCompany.com.
BROACH.
Correct. TheBroachCompany.com. My number is 803-513-6642.
And
that a-
mine's 803-608-0181.
Are those cell phones?
Cell
Mhm.
phones.
Wow.
They're not
They're
landlords.
number 4 and 5 on the podcast to just get
Give
the
out their
digits
own.
out there.
Yeah, it's good.
And Brittany's single and looking to mingle, I think. So if you now have her
Jesus
cell phone,
Christ.
feel free to
That is just what I
feel
need.
free
That-
to drop into that.
I don't need
Skip
anybody else.
Instagram and go right to the cell phone.
I don't need anybody else in my Facebook inbox. Thank you.
And what if someone wants to work with you? Like, let's say that they want you to mentor them.
Ooh.
Wait, that's an opportunity. We love the opportunity just to anybody that gets in this industry. I just feel like, again, like I was saying, the door's wide open. And to have that opportunity, someone who's driven, someone who driven is huge. And we see them making moves, we're more than welcome to help. You know, me on the roles Brittany and I have. So she's great with the paperwork. She's great with all the back end stuff. She's great with all the marketing. So having that piece of the puzzle and then just the years of experience that I have, I mean, I think we're a great mentor team to bring people in short term or long term. But I feel like when you get in the industry, you want to jump in and kind of do a little bit of everything. You know, you want to do work with buyers, you want to work with sellers, you want to do all that, and then kind of just figure out what your sweet spot is, what you enjoy the most, what you enjoy the least. And then, you know, you have opportunities to join teams, you have opportunities to build your own team. It just really depends on what you want to get out of it.
Yeah, I could see there being value in that because I've heard of some people who get their realtor's license. They hate their job. They go get their realtor's license, but then it seems like they don't really know where to go or what to do to get into it.
What I'll say too, I think a lot of people think that, especially since 2020 happened, that people just come to you and they want to sell their house and they want to buy a house. It doesn't work like that. You have to pick up the phone. You have to talk to people. You have to network because it doesn't happen like that. It's like the car salesman. If you send the office, they're not going to come in the office to buy a car. So, I mean, you have to talk to people.
You know what's interesting? I just thought about that. Why do car salesmen get like a bad rap? Aren't realtors very similar?
Pretty much.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's the same concept. It's the same concept.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
All right.
sir.
Well, I mean, like we laugh, like with our Facebook ads and stuff. I hate like when people call you and text you and they're like, hey, prime example, January 1, everybody's like, we want to sell you health insurance, and you get 40 text messages.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't want to be those people.
Right.
Picking up the phone and aggravating everybody to get hung up on. But I mean, if
Yeah,
you
we're
don't
not
call
cold
people,
callers, so we stay in our database.
Yeah.
So the phone calls are easier. Just
Yeah.
to reach out to people,
Right.
that we've spoken to before that have inquired on a Facebook lead. So they're wanting something from us. So our phone call back is help.
Yeah.
So it's easier if you stay in your database. We're not, cold callers, but yeah, we do get hung up on Facebook leads. Sometimes I can hear Brittany over there and she's like, well, you have a good day too.
You have the day you deserve.
Have the day you deserve. So I'm like,
Have a great
she
day.
got hung up on.
Is there one last question. Is there anything that you've thrown in to a sale, like jet skis or anything like that
Where
comes?
do you come up with this stuff at?
Is that not a thing?
No.
Like, hey, I'm at the house and I'm like, all right, I want
For
to
sure.
add
Throw
in
the boat, throw
Yeah,
the jet
there's a
skis.
boat
I don't want
outside.
to have to take that TV off, put it back down.
And we hear a lot of that. TVs are huge.
Yeah.
You know, because of personal property or how that works. The
TV goes, but the mount stays.
the mount stays because it's attached to the home. So
Oh.
you have to think about what personal property is versus what's a fixture to the home. So that's
So like curtains and blinds, like should people take those down before they show their house if they want to keep them?
if they want to keep them, then we can disclose that. But the drapery rods, because they're attached to the home, stay. The actual window treatments go with you. Blinds stay because they're attached to the property.
Interesting.
So if there's something that you
But
love,
like
we
a
do tell
refri-
people
this was something
refrigerators are huge.
you told us about this, right? Because if you don't put in there, they can take the refrigerator, right?
Yeah, it's all negotiable.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that you could possibly want has to be in writing, agreed to by all parties, and signed off on.
Can you think of anything wild, like, I don't know,
Palm trees.
palm trees?
People take those though. People will dig their plants up and take
Yeah.
them, and you can't do that.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean you
unless it's
can.
disclosed
yeah,
ahead of time.
But people. Yeah, I think somebody told
they're
us
attached.
one story one time where they had a pool in the backyard, and the people literally had one move with their pool and their whatever contract, and they dug their pool up
No way.
and took it with them, and they had to bring it back and put it back on the ground.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, this is my last question. If you guys are comfortable, would you kind of tell your chiropractic story, like what got you into chiropractic or what you thought of chiropractic?
Well, she's why I ended up here.
What did she tell you, or how did she
I
come
was
to
Great
sick
of a
and
guy.
tired of her complaining about not
God.
feeling well.
Here we go.
I just wanted to preface that for her.
But I mean, I've had issues with like allergies over the past, and I think it was your explanation that if your what is that thing called in your back?
Spine?
Spine.
And your spinal cord controls everything in your body.
Yep.
So if it's crooked and if something's pinched, that is not going to function for everything else.
Boom.
I was like, dang, that makes a whole lot of sense. Who'd have
Very
thought that?
logical.
That's cool.
Good.
Most logical explanations. I mean,
I'm a great guy.
Yeah.
Is that where you're
He's
going
a
with that?
great guy. Yeah.
you're awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to
You
call you to
did-
paint my house.
You did. Probably not the right terminology, like a dog and pony show at an event I was
Did
at.
I do
one
like
time.
a dinner or was it a workshop, like a talk?
It was a talk at a almost like a
Was it a-
fundraiser, like a benefit.
Yes.
And Bill and I were there, and it was months and months and months later.
yes.
He was at the DMV, and he was like,
And then he walked.
He walked right in
Yeah, I do
your
remember
office, and that's
What
how
was
we
that?
started and become
Yeah.
patients of yours.
What event was that? Was that in a that was in a hotel?
It was in a hotel. I think it was
Yes.
an MS event. I believe.
Yes. That's what it was. It
That
was a
was
fundraiser.
a long time ago. How many
There
years
I
ago
was.
was that?
I don't know. My
8?
guess, yeah, my guess would be
Is it
somewhere
really
in
that long?
It's been that long. It's been a good.
almost a decade.
Yeah.
We need to celebrate that.
And did your husband convince you then, or did you go with him and convince him, or how did that work?
No, it was him that started. So
Yeah.
he had some issues way back with the pinched nerve to where, it was like the deep tissue massage lady came with the bed in our living room. It was really awkward. He couldn't get any relief, and it was the bed that does the decompression that immediately when he was on that bed made the difference.
Yeah.
And so anything that
Nice.
that ails you, chiropractic care should be your first step before taking
For
some
surgery,
drugs.
or drugs. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Prescriptions, probably not drugs.
Drugs.
Wasn't the right terminology for that.
Drugs.
That's
Evil
good.
devil.
All right. You have anything else?
No.
All right. We appreciate you
All
guys
right,
being on
thanks.
here. Thanks for everything. Go
Thanks.
check them out at the Broach Company.
Thanks.
Here
We're here for the health of it.
for the health of it.